The 700th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing the college football and NFL seasons with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, degenerinos. Welcome to a historic episode of the MMA Gambling Podcast, episode 700. We're just flying by now. It's dedicated to Mamed Haladov, who has been fighting for almost 700 years, it seems, but he came through on the weekend for our regional MMA god of the show, Daniel Gumby plus 265 in the main event of KSW, not Octagon. Yeah, and so this is dedicated to you. Hopefully you keep fighting and we keep making money on you. Thanks for coming to the show. I am Big Body Taco Fox. I was not here for all 700 episodes, but the man I'm about to introduce has been, because he doesn't take vacations and he doesn't have kids that end up in the hospital for emergency surgeries like I do. So it's hopefully, knock on wood, on all of that. We don't want him to leave. It's one and only Daniel Gumby Girlean. Hello.
Some of that's not necessarily true. I did go on vacation once and still did a Contender Series episode from an Atlanta, Georgia hotel.
Really? Okay, I guess we were in video then, so that's why.
You want to hear I did it from an Atlanta, Georgia hotel before Game 5 of the World Series, and Karine Silva fought on that card.
No way, really?
Yeah, she fought Keweny. Remember it like it was yesterday.
Yes, there you go. So what we got, let's do a regional update. We didn't do it yesterday off the top because we were talking in UFC to kick off our LFA episode. I assume another good weekend on the regional front for you.
So I can't give you the updates on Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships because it is currently during their prelims. I've been watching it beside my camera. They're on their prelims. Their main card's about to start as we're recording this. So I can't give you an update on that, but going into the Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships, the 5 picks we've got in that one, we are up 39.89 units. So we talked about being up 40 units going after this weekend, as long as we basically break even on the Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships. That should be the case. And we did wind up with a couple of dogs. We locked in Justin Lovrich at plus 160. So I have and Logan Urban too. I feel like both of those are going to hit. We'll be up over 40 units. Shout out to Kaladov for getting us. When he won, I went right to my spreadsheet and punched it in to see if it went over 40, and it came out to 39.89.
Oh, we don't round up with gambling, do we?
No,
we should.
No, I don't. I want it to be I want Operation 40 units to be a real deal.
It's like batting 400, Gumby. You don't want to round up. You're not taking the last game off. You're gonna hit your 400 regardless. So, thoughts on this Cage Warriors card? It seems on paper, it seems like it's a super stacked card. It's kind of hit and miss with Cage Warriors. This one looks like a hit.
Yeah, it's got a lot of fun fights in it. The top 2 fights are real legit.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are kind of interesting. They're like prospecty fights that I still don't know what to think of some of the guys.
Good.
Or gals for that matter.
Find out.
And so we're gonna poke and prod around and make some picks.
Well, we want answers to questions. So as long as it doesn't cost us money, then that's what we want. Another thing that doesn't cost you money, what a segue that wasn't even planned. Our app, of course. If you haven't downloaded the SGPN app, you're missing out. The SGPN app gives you access to all the podcasts on the network and the picks page in one convenient app. And I think all our articles are there as well. Plus, all our content in the app is completely free. Type in SGPN in your app store to download it today. And like all our content as well, there is only locks on there, no leans. So we won't give you, we won't be hedging things. Well, we'll tell you exactly what we think.
We give you picks.
Yes, we give you picks. And we're going to give you some picks right now. Once Tapology loads it up properly. It is Cage Warriors 181. Newcastle, England. Oh, our friends, part of the world. Our friend Malcolm from the
shout out Malcolm.
Premier League podcast and from the baseball podcast. Love Malcolm. He lives in Newcastle upon Tyne.
I love his baseball breakdown.
He's so into it. It's great. That's what you want. You want someone that's so into it. So going down on Saturday. LFA was Friday. We covered that yesterday, so now we got some Saturday stuff for you. Actually, when's the UFC start this week? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's got to be super early in the morning.
Yeah,
because
UFC Macau, is it?
Yeah, Macau, China. So
yeah. Anyhow, UFC Macau. I just want to all you people have multiple screens. I hate watching things on multiple screens. I find I don't pay attention to any of it. It starts at 3 a.m. Yikes! So UFC may be over before this event starts. So this one's
real early.
Yeah. You did gens that are up all night. This is perfect for you. So Cage Warriors is not starting till noon. So you can just roll right through. Actually, you can probably LFA starts at 10. LFA starts at 10.
And I know we got a Discord guy or two who works the midnight shift. So they might just have a whole night for themselves.
Yeah, so LFA starts. That'll lead you right into Cage Warriors. It would probably end right around right when UFC starts at 3 a.m. and then UFC probably end what? Yeah, you'll probably have an hour, maybe hour or two off if you need to sleep, pussy, and then Cage Warriors 181 is at noon, Newcastle upon time. The Virtu Motors Arena, 12 bouts. Gumby has picked off the 5 choicest bits off the card, and then he'll get to choose between the final 7 picks to give you some extra bonus lightning round picks. Thanks to whatever viewer or it was a viewer or listener who suggested that to us. You remember who it was? The lightning round.
And we ask all the time.
I know. They even named it for us, I think. All right, we're starting off with the main card fight. One of these guys you probably have heard of, Justin Burlinson. That would be the one. He's from England. He's fighting a welterweight fight against Theodor Berggren from Sweden. 3 5-minute rounds. We're going to tell you about. We don't have odds yet for Cage Warriors. They probably will drop in a couple of days. It's usually a midweek thing for this stuff. Like I said in past episodes, they want to hear what Gumby has to say about these fights, and then they make their lines accordingly. Berggren is Simba, is a nickname. 6-1, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. This is his debut in Cage Warriors. He's won 4 straight fights. He's not lost since May 2022. Burlinson, 8-2, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. He owes his rounds, damn it. 3-1 in Cage Warriors. Lost win over his last 4. He won his last fight via submission. That was back in March of 2023. He's not lost a fight since June 2022. He went 0-1 on Contender Series. Gumby's going to tell you who he lost to.
Johan Linnaeus?
Yes, correct. 2-0 in Bellator. 2-0 as a pro grappler. 3 years younger than Berggren, an inch taller.
Yeah, so I think between getting knocked out twice, not good recent results, all that kind of stuff, usually I would say a guy in Contender Series who's already got Cage Warriors experience, always the favorite over the other guy. But I think the results and how bad those results looked, and also just kind of like what a fun prospect Berggren is, it's hard for me to line this one. I'm going to say pick him. I don't know necessarily where to go with that. And if that's true, I really do love the value you're going to get on Berggren here because he's a very dynamic striker. Sometimes I don't like how risky he is. He fights with his hands way down. He gets really comfortable when he's landed he needs to land twice, and then he's like overly confident that nobody will ever touch him. And like as he starts to fight Cage Warriors fighters, right, like that's a problem. But that being said, like Burlinson has been hittable and has had issues with that, not just in the 2 knockout losses, but if you watch that last fight with Richardson tags him real hard late when he starts to get tired. He's also a guy who like tries to bully people both by like moving forward and brawling, but also by, like holding them in the clinch and like kind of trying to wear on them. And when it doesn't work, it looks like it breaks him a little bit. Like he looks like he has trouble mentally with like, oh, what I was planning on doing to this guy isn't working. And against the guy who's so frustrating, like Berggren, who like, very dynamic, hands low, wants to be Conor McGregor striking wise, like against a guy like that, you can get frustrated really easy. And he's also so strong in the clinch, Berggren is. So like if Burlinson is trying to like, turn this into a sloppy fight and it's not working, like I said, I think it breaks him because you see him start to overextend himself on strikes. You see him start to get desperate on takedowns. You see anytime he's got a clinch, he's like trying to jump onto the back of his opponent. All of those things are bad against Berggren. So if we can get Berggren anywhere near even money, that's where I want to be. So give me Theodor Berggren.
All righty. Hands kind of like a Mauricio Hoofy fighting style. He kind of fights like McGregor too, eh?
I mean,
hands down and
the way
around.
Joe Rogan talked about him, you would have thought he was the second coming. And don't get me wrong, Mauricio Hoofy looks so good on Saturday, but my God, Joe Rogan has one note on his little note card, and he just plays that note the whole time.
And DC agrees. So there you go. I didn't hear a lot of the commentary, thankfully.
No, do you want to hear a really fun one? And I don't mean to derail what we're doing here with Cage Warriors.
That's
but
what we're all about.
At one point in time, Joe Rogan was like, his cardio is just so good too. He could do this for hours. And DC goes, I completely agree. He did get tired in his last fight though.
Yep. I didn't hear a lot of it. Had the volume on, a lot of distractions, so not that I'm complaining. So, and I didn't see anything about a certain person in the crowd either, which is good. So I heard after the fact. So about some of the people in the crowd. Anyhow, don't think we have to worry about that at Cage Warriors. Gumby has got you a pick, hopefully a dog, right? Maybe a pick.
It'll be interesting because, like I said, Burlinson's got all the indicators to be a favorite, but he's also looked so bad in some of those big fights.
Yeah. Berggren 63%. Maybe the Tapology people are
smart. I mean, or it's like one of the few times the people who are just like clicking their picks as quickly as they can already know that this guy has looked bad once in a while. So it could be that.
All righty, let's move up the card. James Power from England versus Dumitru Girlean. He is not from England. He is from Italy. Does that sound right to you? Ireland, Italy, excuse me. 3 5-minute rounds, 155. I think we have discussed both these people before. I remember the names, Gumby. Memorable names. Girlean. We should call him Gerlock. If it's SGPN, right?
Sure. Gerlock.
Oh boy, you do not like that one. Boy, give me nothing, eh? Gerlock.
I want to say his name is pronounced a different way. I think.
Yeah, it probably is. Girlean or something.
Girlean. Yeah.
It's funnier if it's Girlean. It's funnier if it's Girlean. Anyhow, however you say his name, Dumitru is 8-2, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted twice. He's another guy that owes his rounds. We're coming across a bunch of those guys. 3-1 in Cage Warriors. He's won 2 straight and 5 of 6. 2 straight wins that come via submission. Regional champion, 3 years younger than Power. Power 7-1 with 6 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. 4-1 in Cage Warriors. He's won 2 straight, including his last fight via TKO. He used to fight at welterweight.
I think Power's going to be like a -250 favorite, and I'm going to take Girlean. I think he's worse than Power.
Okay, that's a good reason to pick him.
Perfect. Yeah, as it's coming out of my mouth, I realize it sounds so dumb.
Nice job.
I think he's worse than James Power in 98% of the places. I also know he's got a sick guillotine, and James Power just sort of feels like he'll walk into it.
Does he jump ever into it?
I mean, he used it in 700 different ways on Chris Bungard in his last fight and got it.
Perfect.
Nice. And tapped out Chris Bungard, which is not easy to do. That dude's gritty and doesn't tap to unless things are in, right? Like he gets after it. So for me, Power, I mean, you mentioned he's 4-1 in Cage Warriors. His only other loss is to a guy with good grappling skills who also have Girlean's Italian, right? You said
yes.
Yeah. Yep. He lost to another Italian who is good at grappling. That's his only other loss. So like, I mean, like, I wish I could give a better reason for why I like Girlean in this fight. I think he's going to be a big dog. And like, the more I just think about how Power could sometimes make mistakes, and Girlean is just, it's that guillotine. I just trust his guillotine for some reason. Maybe not Jim Miller style, but I trust his guillotine enough. So I'm going to go Girlean. And I really wish usually I give you guys all my notes on his fight styles and stuff like that. I think he's a worse wrestler. I think he's worse at boxing. I think his pace is worse. And I think he's got a sick guillotine. And that's all I got for this one.
That's plenty. That is plenty. We didn't really talk about Jim. We didn't give Jim Miller his flowers, as the kids like to say. Boy, it's so great that you won. Even though I like Damon Jackson, and too bad he's retiring, but quote unquote retiring. But yeah, Miller's awesome.
I think he's done. He's got his own gym. It's over.
Yeah. Yep. And he talked to you, and that's pretty much the kiss.
That's the death sentence.
He talked to Gumby on his podcast, and the next thing you know, an old guy is choking him out. So in front of a bunch of people. So, all right. Before we move on, mybookie.ag, ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you by them. Mybookie.ag, SGPN started with MyBookie, and now we are back. We've come back home, the prodigal sons. Check out the new and improved website, great on mobile. Plus, they got props for every game and the live dealer casino. They even have new early cash out options. Check out the MMA odds there, of course. Or if you like Gumby's first basket prop article that he writes every day, or my NBA articles that I write every day, check out all those odds over at MyBookie. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right. Now we're off nothing but gold the rest of the way. Cage Warriors vacant women's bantamweight championship. Gumby vacant and interim. I always have to ask you, what's going on here? Do you know?
So I don't know why you're saying interim. I think it's just vacant.
No, it's not interim. No, they're the words that trigger me to ask you is what I'm saying. So
yes, it's just vacant. And it's been vacant since 2014 when Pani Kianzad vacated it to go to Invicta, not even to go to the UFC. Pani Kianzad vacated it to go to Invicta, and they just have not had compelling women's division since.
Yeah.
They pretty much look, and I love Cage Warriors. It's a very legitimate promotion, all those kinds of things. I don't mean to hate on it, but they pretty much just, when they have a woman they really like, they dust off the ladies' belts and bring them on out.
Well, there you go. That's foreshadowing. There's someone that they really like in this bout, that means. So it's almost as if there's not enough fighters at the heavier weight classes for women, and they should have.
No, I mean, their lower weight classes are the same. Like, their women's divisions are just undeveloped. And they did the same thing with Molly McCann. They just busted out a belt when they needed her to be a big deal.
Hey, it's a new sport to begin with, and then the women's side is even basically newer, developing. So no big surprise. So that's why head and arm, aka headlock throws, still work in women's MMA. All right, Cage Warriors vacant bantamweight championship. Kennedy Freeman, I think this may be the one that they like. She's from England versus Mafalda Carmona. She's not from England, so that's my first tip that they're not into her. She is from Portugal. 5 5-minute rounds, a 135. The belt it must be so dusty. Hopefully they polish it up nice for this bout after a decade in the closets. We'll tell you about Carmona first. Monstrino, so little monster. So she's the Vanessa Demopoulos of Portugal, I guess.
No, that's a little monster. It's different.
Oh, that's right, different. Yeah, Eno is not Lil. Eno is little.
Lil.
So it's not Wayne Eno. If Lil Wayne went to
yes, that's because he's Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's true. He would not be Will Eno. All right, Monstrino Carmona, 7-2, 3 knockouts, 1 submission, never been finished in a fight. This is her debut in Cage Warriors, and she's stepping in for the gold right away. I think it's more silver, their belts, but anyhow, 4 straight wins for her. She's not lost since June 2022. Used to fight at flyweight, 3 years younger than Freeman. Freeman is the machine 2.0. Who's the machine 1.0, Gumby?
Ian Freeman.
Oh, that's right. She is the dad. Yeah, it was a joke, but it's true. We have talked about her before. Yeah. Yes, her father is the machine. She's won 5 straight. She's knocked out 3 people. 5-0 total in her career. 3 knockouts, 2-0 in Cage Warriors, 2 straight wins via TKO. Regional champion, used to fight at 125, and she is the chosen one here. I take it. She's the it girl, right?
Yeah, I think she's going to be like -400, -500. It'll probably balloon up as people include her in parlays. Yeah, I'm going to pick her. I think she's going to win this fight, but I will tell you that, if you have a parlay that you like, you're doctoring one up on Cage Warriors, or maybe you're going cross promotions and you got it up to 3-1 and you're real happy with it. No reason to throw her in there for another 50 cents. This is a riskier fight than I would like to throw in a parlay. I'm going to pick her to win. I think she is going to beat Carmona, but if the odds are crazy on this one, this is just stay away and don't throw it in your parlay. Don't let this be your parlay buster, because Freeman looks like the type of prospect you want at bantamweight. She hits so hard when she puts her combinations together and she lands. She's knocking out people we don't see a lot of women's bantamweights knock people out. She appears to have a full, well-rounded game. Wrestling defense, not awful. The big problem I would say with her is that in some of her fights, she's been held against the cage for long periods of time. And it's worn her opponents out more than her, but she spent a lot of time in positions that are not advantageous and she's not scoring in. Carmona can be a little bit of a grinder. She's going to be way slower on the feet, definitely worse. I ultimately think Kennedy Freeman is going to land that big right hand and she's going to knock her out. but like it's enough for me to be like, Carmona does some of the things that Freeman sucks at. And granted, Freeman's young and she's clearly learning, and every single time she's been out, she's looked better. So maybe she gets off the cage better, especially being that she's been preparing for Mafalda Carmona. I just don't think I would go out of my way to squeeze her in a parlay to get a little bit extra value on it. I do think she wins. I think she throws that right hand and knocks her out. But yeah, I'm excited to see where Kennedy Freeman goes, because I think if she wins this, they get her a title defense. Like, it feels like the type of fighter, if the UFC's going to, is the UFC going to the UK in February? If she throws a right hand bomb here and knocks somebody out, has 3 straight knockouts at women's bantamweight, is the daughter of a former professional fighter, he was kind of, I wouldn't use journeyman, right? But like he went around. Yeah. And so like, it's a nice story there. Like, it feels like a person the UFC would just snatch right up to. So yeah, looking for Kennedy Freeman to be on your TV sooner rather than later.
Nice. I forgot to mention Carmona was not the original opponent here, right? Do you know how much?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Amelia Sirwinska was the original opponent, and same with Justin Burlinson's fight. He was supposed to fight Sato Ukar, so I don't know the topology doesn't have dates.
I know Carmona. I know Carmona was tabbed early enough that I didn't know the other opponent existed. Right, I don't think I would have noticed if Burlinson had an opponent change. I don't think I was that deep on the card early, but I noticed when they had a Kennedy Freeman fight on, and the only opponent I've seen is Carmona. So
okay, cool. All right, so we probably don't have to worry about short notice anyhow, but Gumby's going against Carmona anyhow here. So all right, he's on the right side of that equation, even if it is short notice. We're on to the co-main event. Cage Warriors Flyweight Championship on the men's side. Shajidul, Haque, Haque, Nicolas Leblond. Haque is from England. Leblond is from France. 5-minute rounds, 125. Tell you about the challenger first. Leblond, 11-4. 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. 5-2 in Cage Warriors. He's won 5 straight fights. He's not lost since June 2021. 2013 was his pro MMA debut. He's fought at bantamweight, 5 years younger than Haque, an inch taller. Am I saying Haque right?
Hague, yeah, I think so.
He's Superman. We'll just call him Superman. That's even easier. 16-5 with 5 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 8-2 in Cage Warriors. He is the champion. He has already successfully defended the title once. He's won 6 straight fights. He's not lost since September 2020. He's not fought low since his first title defense, which was back in July of 2023. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpockets.com/sticky. Get sportsgamblingpockets.com/store.
I don't know what you'll get if you put that in the URL.
Yeah, don't do that, please. Sticky is something totally different. Sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. That's what you want. And then I say get sticky with it. Used to fight a bantamweight 2012 pro MMA debut. I should stop talking now.
I expect the champ to be like -200, and I'm going to take Haque. I think a couple of things I like about it. I think he's the better wrestler than Leblond. MMA math doesn't always work out, but like Haque took down Sam Creasy, who's, I think a pretty well-rounded flyweight guy who's fought some of the very best, and he did really well against Creasy. Leblond didn't look as good against Creasy. MMA math doesn't always work, but it kind of does there. I also really just love the angles Haque creates. He's really awkward. I think on a past episode, I called it Dominic Cruz light. He has like some of that funky leg movement in the way that he advances. And also what's really interesting about that is when he gets an angle he likes, he sets his feet really well and then delivers a big shot. Like, he has got wild power for a flyweight. So, I like that about him. It's pretty clear to me Leblond wants to wrestle in just about every fight. And like, I don't think he's the better wrestler here. So that's going to be a problem. And then like on the feet, his strikes are definitely wider, less straight to the point. And when you're not throwing straight to your target and you're fighting a guy who's not in the same place very often, like I just think Leblond is destined to miss by large margins in lots of these striking exchanges. Whereas Haque will just like constantly be having him off balance to either plow him over for a takedown or land some big devastating blow. So I think Haque is a pretty safe play here. I'm guessing -200 here for him to defend.
All right, let's lock it in. -200 for Haque. Before we jump to the main event and our lightning round plays, let me tell you about our friends at Underdog. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all of sports. They got NFL, they got college football, they got college basketball, they got MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more, depending on the season. And regardless of the season, you can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Gumby's got to play for you, I bet.
Yeah, we're still on Monday Night Football, which I gave you one for yesterday. You can go back and listen to yesterday's episode for that
You
one if
should.
you want. I'll double down here. I think the Cowboys are going to have to be throwing pretty much the whole game as they play catch up. I'll take the higher than on Jalen Tolbert's receiving yards, especially with CeeDee Lamb banged up a little bit, and he's had that questionable tag. I think he's going to play, but that may open up a few more receptions for Jalen Tolbert. So let's get the higher than on Tolbert's receiving yards.
All right, sign up with our code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $8,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. Kind of a lost season in Cowboy land, right, Gumby?
It is very much so.
Yeah. Too bad. So sad. One thing that's not sad, Rhythm. And we're proud to be their partner. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money line, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build you a model. You can now track props in the Rhythm app. They got NFL picks. They've got college football. They got college basketball. They got NBA. They got it all. Rhythm has it all, including Al Horford. Gumby has confirmed for us. Al Horford prop picks. That's the way to go. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. You haven't given out a Horford pick for a while, Gumby. I hope you're not off the train.
Al Horford's higher than 1.5.
There you go. 1.5 anything.
3 pointers. 3 pointers.
Okay. Yeah, because every other game pretty much he'll explode. All right. Main event. Cage Warriors Featherweight Championship. Harry Hardwick, part of the Hardwick family, versus Keweny Lopes. We got Great Britain versus Brazil for the 145-pound belt. 5-minute rounds. I think, is he the older brother of George Hardwick or the younger brother of George Hardwick? Or I
want to say he's older, but I can't.
Yeah, it looked. I thought he was. Yeah,
they might be twins too, man.
For all we know, we don't care. All right, Lopes, Leao, Leao, Lion, or I guess Big Lion, right? If it's got AO at the end of it,
Big Lion.
Yeah. So like Big Leo, Leo translates to Lion, I guess. 11-1-1 is the record. Very nice. 8 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. 1-0 in LFA. 11 straight wins. 2 straight via TKO. He's not lost since March of 2016. That's a nice little run he's got going here. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. There you go. I nailed it that time. I used to fight at lightweight, a year younger than Hardwick. Houdini Hardwick, 11-3-1, 2 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once, 5-0 with 1 draw in Cage Warriors, so 5-0-1. He is the champion. He won it in his last fight. He's won 3 straight, and he's gone 6-0-1 over his last 7. 2 straight wins via finish. He's not lost since September 2020. He was a regional champion. He used to fight down at bantamweight, up at lightweight. 1-0 in kickboxing, and a champion there. He won a belt in his only kickboxing fight, an inch of height over Lopes.
Good I'm kind of up in the Keweny Lopes lore of him not having lost in 8 years and coming from LFA and being like a highly touted Brazilian knockout artist. Like, I'm kind of hoping it keeps the line low. I don't, because Hardwick, the name holds some weight, right? And I think Harry, I'm going to say like -145 is where I hope it holds it down. And I'm going to go with Hardwick. I hope it stays in a playable range and nobody gets, too over their skis about the hometown play. I just think he is way better at putting together a full game. Keweny Lopes is a guy who he's really patient early on, but then any sign of excitement, he starts swinging. And he's a guy who, if he lands once on you, he's about to throw like the wildest 30-punch combo you've ever seen. And I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing against Harry Hardwick, because Hardwick, we saw him weather a little bit of the storm last time against Orlando Prince, and it wasn't much of a storm. Like, Orlando Prince didn't give him too much trouble, but like Prince had some success early countering him and some success in the clinch. Hardwick just has a way of like wearing people down by being hyper accurate with his striking, and Lopes winds up big on his strikes, and Hardwick is just right to the target. So whether or not the hands are faster on Lopes, I don't think matters, because Harry Hardwick is just like, his strikes travel less of a distance and do just as much, if not more damage. And so for me, I think Hardwick is just going to, he might take some lumps in the first round or so, but I think you're going to see him absolutely wear down Lopes. And I think you're going to see him take over. So I'm hoping, like I said, low to mid 100s. But yeah, Harry Hardwick's the play here.
If I was fighting Houdini Hardwick, I would hit him in the gut, Gumby, because that's what killed Houdini, right?
So first of all, I have no idea. But second of all, I think he's hard to hit, particularly to the body, because of the way he comes after you. Like, you're going to have to eat something to give something. And fighters like Keweny Lopes is very unlikely for that punch to be something to the body. If you're going to punch him 3 times in the head, that dude's going to be looking for the biggest hook counter to your cheek that he possibly can.
Yeah, Houdini's thing was he would let anyone hit him in the stomach because he could flex his muscles hard enough that it wouldn't hurt him. And then someone did it to him on the street and without telling him in advance, and you killed him because he didn't flex his stomach muscles.
Look at that.
So that's why you should go after.
You guys are smarter for having listened to us.
Yeah, that's why you should go after Houdini Hardwick's gut. That's my my game plan for that. All right, let's recap, and then Gumby's got some extra plays for you. He's got Hardwick, he's got Haque, he's got Freeman, he has got Girlean. What's the number you had for Girlean again? I didn't type that one in. Do you remember approximately what you think that would be?
I said plus 215, I think.
Nice. All right, Girlean, and he has got Berggren. All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow.
All right, so I got 2 for you here. I'm going to take Tommy Hawthorne. He is a Welsh fighter, kind of a little bit of a grinder. I think the matchup lends itself to him just fighting the game plan that he always likes to fight. Not sure where the line will come in on there, but I do think as long as he's not too big of a favorite here, I like him. And I'm also going to take Aiden Lee. Aiden Lee's record always surprises me at how bad it is. I think he's 12-9, 12-8, 12-9. But his jiu-jitsu is just so good at times. Like he just, it feels like he's the type of guy who's going to fight for your money at like plus 275 or something like that. And I don't know that his opponent is going to inspire a line such as plus 275, but like you always know he's got a submission somewhere deep in there. So Aiden Lee, Tommy Hawthorne, those are my 2 lightning round picks.
All right, you are set for Cage Warriors. It's part of your all-night viewing and all-day viewing on Friday night / Saturday morning, afternoon, into the evening. All right, we'll be in the Discord. I'm sure people will be in there at all those times discussing all of these fights at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. There's always someone there. You can reach us on YouTube as well in the comments if you like. Make sure you subscribe first. MMA Gambling Podcast. Twitter, Gumby runs our account at SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. Get in my Substack. Enter my UFC Pick'em contest. I guess only 3 more contests left for the year. UFC is winding down for the season. So get in the Substack at moneymma.substack.com. Check out Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. He's got some exciting guests on this week, and they are.
Yeah, we're talking about a guy who we talked about as an opponent to 2 of these fighters today. Sam Creasy, who has now moved on to Octagon and is the champ there. And we're also talking to the baby shark, Tabitha Ricci.
Yes, there you go. Jong, ears have perked up. Hopefully just his ears. And what else? The main mothership is sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. You should have laughed. That was a good joke I threw in there. But anyhow, Gummy, take us away till tomorrow.
All right, I'm Dana Gummy Freeland. He's Jeff the Machine 3.0 Fox.
Oh,
and
nice.
We will see you tomorrow.